there we are. Okay. Good morning. Happy Easter. It is Sunday. It is April 12th, and it is Easter Sunday. It is Sunday morning. We are live. And I am Ron, so this must be Sunday morning live with Ron. Hopefully the sound is picking up here. I don't have any levels that I can see on either of my broadcast streams here. So we're going to have to trust that life is working. So let's jump right into it. First, a couple of disclaimers. Today I am going to mention a few products specifically by name. I also, in my replays, are going to provide a link where you might go to buy these products. Please know that those are affiliate links. If you click them and buy something, I will make a little bit of money. It won't cost you anything extra. So I encourage you to do that. So here we go. I promised you 4 things today. 1, I promised to show you the 4 new prints for the week. And 2, I promised that I was going to show you how to hold a camera correctly to keep it steady. And I have a couple of different cameras here to demonstrate with. 3, I promised to give you a quick rundown of the camera that I used when I was in Europe last summer, which was a Canon PowerShot SX720. Nice little camera, but I will tell you why I went to something different afterwards. But it worked well for that trip. And then finally, if you have any questions or comments, or anybody actually gets on and has questions or comments, I'll be glad to answer those as we go along. Now I'm just going back and forth because last week I had a lot of problems with the Facebook dropping, and go live now. Leave this page, go live now. Alright. Let's go back. Reload the page. I may have dropped Facebook again. Give me 1 second to go back to Facebook here. We're going to use the camera. It resets everything all of the time. And go live. 3, 2, 1, live. There we go. I think we're back live on Facebook again now. Or at least it's starting it. Let's assume they're going to catch up. So once again, our agenda today. I hate when I go back to my trackpad. There, once again, our agenda today is we're going to see this week's pictures. We're going to show the proper way to hold a camera so that you get steady shots. 3, we're going to review the camera that I used in Europe last summer. And then we're going to get to your comments and inputs. And we're also going to have a special treat a little bit later on. Besides my friend, the Easter Bunny here, we're going to do something special. So stay tuned and keep watching. So let's jump right into it. Give them just 1 more minute. The first shout out that I want to give is to, do they have it on that side? No. They only did their logo on one side. Is to Art Storefronts. They are the people who developed and host my website, ronalcottphotography.com. If you are an artist and you are struggling in this rapidly developing online world of of selling art online. These are the experts. These people are amazing. Their support is incredible. We're online with the director of marketing and the owner of the company twice a week to get marketing tips. Look them up, artstorefronts.com. Appreciate them. Next, every week as we do these, we're going to introduce the new photos that are going onto the site for this week. And this week I've got 4 of them. And here they are. This first one, make sure I got it right side up, and I don't. This first one is called Aztec Dancer 3. Last December, early December, in San Jose, we went to a Native American festival. And it turned out part of this, it was in a community hall, specifically for this Native American group. And there were booths and things to buy there. But there also was a huge, huge presentation with drums. You can see one of the drums back there. And dancers in Native American, this particular group was Aztec. Native American dancers, and they did quite a long program, and it was really very, very special. It was a lot of fun to watch, and a lot of color, and a lot of spinning and dancing, and just fun. So, Aztec Dancer 3, here she is. Okay. Another festival. This was the Lunar New Year Festival for this year at Santana Row, also in San Jose. Yes, there's a reason why I end up in San Jose a lot, and it's a person, and it's important. But this was in Santana Row, and what particularly struck me here is the knowing look that's passing between these two people right here. And this one's called I Know What You're Thinking. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun festival and fun to watch. But a big crowd crowded around a single stage, so it was really hard to get clear photos of what was going on the stage. In this case, what was going on the stage were these young girls who were doing traditional Asian, I don't know nationality, dance. So, but when I looked at the image, and I looked at all the faces in the crowd, that couple there looking at each other, I don't know that that was one of their kids on the stage or what they were smiling about, but that's a pretty knowing smile. So again, I know what you're thinking. This one is Then He Just Walked Into the Ocean. This was taken in Pacifica, as many of my ocean pictures are. This was not Rockaway Beach. I forgot to look up which beach this was, but we were at a little coffee house called TikTok, listening to some music on a Sunday, and they had easy access to the beach, so we went down onto the beach. And I got this picture of footprints that either led into or out of the water, and I decided they led into the water. It's called Then He Just Walked Into the Ocean. All of these are going to be up on my site and available as prints this afternoon by 5 o'clock, so you can look at them there. They're pretty nice. I like them a lot. This one is from that same location. called Sandgrass. And I kind of went crazy in the post-production on this guy and made it into a bit of an abstract color piece. It's really quite interesting. You can put it a lot of different ways, have it still be interesting. So if you get one, you can put it however you want it. There it is. All right. But this is actually the right way up. Just for reference, you can come back to the video and go, oh, which way did he hang that? This is the right way up. At least the way I took it. It's art, especially with abstract art. Your interpretation is certainly more important than mine. So if you like it better this way or this way, hey, go for it. So those are the 4 pieces. Once again, Sandgrass, and he just walked into the ocean. I know what you're thinking. Get her right side up. Aztec Dancer 3. And as I said, you'll be able to see these on my website, ronalcottphotography.com, at by 5 o'clock this afternoon. That's Alcott with an O, for those of you who do not know me, RONOLCOTT. That's my name, that's my site, and those are my pictures. I've got about 140 pictures up there now, so take a look at them, scroll through them. They are, when you come in, they're all in one big gallery, and you'll see these newest ones will be up top. If you want to look by a category, I have categories, and if you want to look by location, I have locations too. There's just a pull down in the menu, so take a look there. Now these prints are just prints that I did on my home printer, okay, which is not a photo quality printer by any means. It's a good home printer, but it's not a photo quality printer. So I just did these as proofs to show you. The images that you get will be a little bit brighter, and they will definitely be a lot sharper and crisper. But because I have these and I made them, I'm going to do something special today. Starting today, and it's going to be available through the replays as well. If you just write in a comment and tell me which piece you liked the best out of the 4 that I showed today, put in the comments which piece you liked the best. I will send you all 4 of these proof prints, and I will sign each one, even though they are not top quality. That you will have a signed proof print from my home printer. So put which one you liked the best into the comments, and that will be your entry. And I'll announce who the winner is next week at the same time, Sunday morning live with Ron at 8 a.m. on Sunday mornings. And we have our first visitor. Yay, thank you for joining us. Just to recap where we've been so far, we've seen our 4 images for this week. We've got seagrass, then he just walked into the ocean, I know what you're thinking, and Aztec Dancer 3. as you can tell from the number, there's going to be a lot of Aztec dancers. That was a very, very fun day. Uh, but I was just announcing that if you put in the comments which one of those four, and you'll see them again before I get done, you like the best, then I will sign all four of them and send them to you. Just my artist, they're not artist proofs, they're just proofs off of my home printer. So I will send those to you at my expense. So be sure to put which one you like the best into the comments. And again, it's open on the replays. So that's that. So that's the first thing I promised. I promised we would see 4 new images, and there they are. They're brand new. They're going up on the site this afternoon. So the second thing I promised was to show you how to hold your camera steady. Now, I have a couple cameras here to demonstrate with. The first one, and most common one, is going to be my iPhone. Okay, a lot of people take pictures with iPhones. In fact, one of those 4 images that I put up today was an iPhone image. I'm not proud. If the iPhone is what I have, that's what I will take the picture with, and if it comes out nice, I will post it. So I'm not stuck up and all of that stuff. But the thing you need to know to get good, clear pictures is you need to have a good, steady camera. Okay? And I have tried any number of ways to be able to take pictures with my iPhone with one hand. All right? And that's the best I've come up with. All right? I get kind of a fork thing with my 2 fingers, and then I can hit the shutter with my finger. But when I do that, okay, and you'll notice you're not going to see a lot of selfies of me, and that's because you can see, and I'm not exaggerating that, you can see how much that phone is moving out there. So it's very, very hard to get a clear picture. Now, these smartphones, they're pretty smart, and they do a pretty good job of stabilizing and correcting for that, especially when you've got pretty good lighting like we've got here in the backyard. But if you're trying to shoot something inside, the lighting's not so good, it's going to have to take a little bit longer to get enough light to take a picture, it's going to get pretty shaky. So the trick to getting a clear, shake-free picture with any type of camera is to get both hands on it. Okay? So here you see I've got my 2 hands on my camera. Okay? And then even here, okay, now I am exaggerating a little bit. But even here, the camera is going to be moving a little bit because I'm just got my hands out in space. So the next trick, let's see if I can show this better, is to tuck your elbows in and push them down into your body. Okay? And once you've done that, you've got a pretty steady platform. All right? So there we are. That's the image that we took with that steadying technique. All right? So that's how you would do it on your phone. And of course, if you're trying to do a selfie, that's a little bit tricky. But, try to get another hand on it. Try and, no, the whole idea of selfie is to get this as far away as possible. But you're going to get a much better shot if you can get it tucked in a little bit and get a little support. If you can't do that, okay, use a solid surface. All right? Even if you're using your hands, right now I'm resting my hands on the keyboard of my computer that I'm using there. Okay? Go back. All right. Okay? And that gives me a very, very steady surface. If you're going to hold it out like this, maybe get this guy tucked underneath. Okay? Take your selfie that way. anything you can do to give yourself a more stable platform, that will help you out a lot. I promised I had 2 cameras to demonstrate that with. The next type of camera that people are likely to have is a point and shoot. Okay. This is the camera we're going to be talking about in just a minute. This is the camera that I took all of my pictures of Europe with. It's the one I took with me to Europe. And I'm going to talk about why I picked this particular one as we review it. But you'll see when I turn it on, this has a lens that pops out of the front. Okay? To get a clear, good, stable surface with this, we're going to grip the camera over here. That puts my finger up here by my shutter. Okay? And then we're going to grab here underneath that lens. And once again, we're going to take the elbows, tuck them in. Now you'll notice I've got this out in front of me and not up to my eye. We'll talk about why that is in a minute. But I've got him tucked in. Let's put this on full auto mode just so I get a good picture, because I'm not going to take time to adjust everything. All right, so we're tucked in. And then if we play back that picture, okay, you'll see there, where is it? There, we got a nice steady image off of that. So again, that secret is get 2 hands on it, okay? Even if you don't have something where you can get a lens that pops out like that, get 2 hands on it. Get your elbows in and get it stable, and then you can take the picture. All right? So that's item number 2. How do you get a steady shot with your camera? If you have any questions, be sure to just drop them in the chat. I will be looking. Let me drop over here to Facebook for a second. I've got 2 different feeds that I have to do on here. The software I'm using doesn't connect to Facebook yet. So, but we are on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. The replays will be on all 3 of those platforms. I'm Ron Olcott Photography. You can look for it there. Once again, disclaimer. I'm about to talk about this camera, and in the replay, there will be a link to go to Amazon and buy this camera. It is an affiliate link. It means I will get a little bit of money if you happen to buy that way, or even if you go to that link and buy anything off of Amazon that session, I will get a little bit of money, but it doesn't cost you any extra money. But it's a financial interest, so I have to disclose it, so now we're all honest and clear and good. So, let's talk about this camera. I like this camera, I gotta tell you. This was one of the smartest moves that I made when I went to Europe. Okay? And we'll start with what's called the form factor in engineering terms. It's a little camera. All right. First off, what is it? It is a Canon, as you can see by the label up here, which is all backwards. I'll have to figure out how to flip that. It's a Canon, and it's the PowerShot. There we go. PowerShot SX720/HS with Wi-Fi, which are all a lot of really good numbers. What does all that mean? It's just a model number. All right. On to why I like it. All right. I looked at a lot of different point and shoots. I knew that I wanted a point and shoot because I knew that I didn't want to lug 4, 5, 8, 10 pounds of camera equipment with me everywhere I went. So just looking at my cheat sheet on the specs here, the weight of this camera is 1 pound. All right, 1 pound. All right, and it came with straps, and it's got a wrist strap. I think I used that twice. But I did buy it with an accessory pack that included this little carrying case. All right, it drops in there very loosely, Velcro cover, and then I went down to REI and had bought some I think they're called S shackles, okay, but they just have this little spring thing, okay. One thing goes there, and I would take this and I would put it right on my belt loop, okay. So it was sitting right on my hip, on the front of my hip, that front belt loop, the entire trip. I mean, everywhere I went to a conference, and I had this on during the conference so that if I had a break, I went outside, I saw a pretty flower, I took a picture. The first biggest key to being successful at documenting what you've seen, what you like, everything about photography is have a camera with you. Okay. Then let's talk about the specs. There were a lot of choices. Okay. Now, first and foremost, I was spending a lot of money to go to Europe. So I did not want to spend a lot of money on a camera. But also, I mean, you can get a camera for $40 now. I didn't want a $40 camera. I wanted something solid. This one has a metal body. I wanted something that was going to give me good pictures. This is a 20.5 megapixels, 20.3 megapixels. All right. That's quite a bit. Okay. I think my iPhone 8s has 8 megapixels. So this is more than twice that. I think even the new iPhone Pros are around 20 megapixels. So they're getting up to match the level of this. Okay. The third thing that I was looking for is that I know that I'm relatively lazy. So I wasn't going to walk up to everything that I wanted to take a picture of. So it was important to me to have something that had a wide range of zoom. Okay? Well, zoom is just how far in or back from the object you're shooting your camera will take a picture of. This one has, is it on? No, there. Okay, pop him out. Now this guy has, you're probably not going to be able to see it, but we'll try. Okay. See at the very top, as I start to use the zoom feature, it shows that little white bar, and it will go right about there. Okay, that is 40 times magnification, and you'll notice the lens got longer. So that's actual optical zoom. Okay, so that means the optics, the actual light that's being gathered, got 40 times bigger. Okay, then in addition to that, it goes to electronic zoom once you go beyond that point, and it will go up to about 140 times. Okay, you see that other part of the bar? Okay, the grayish part. Okay, so it goes up to about 140 times optical zoom. The pictures come out a little bit grainy when you're shooting at that kind of detail, but just for example, I think, since I'm on all auto here, think I can get it to focus on the screen of my screen door. No, no. Okay, but suffice it, 120x is pretty impressive. To get that kind of zoom on a with like a traditional digital single lens reflex, okay, the big cameras you see people carry, okay, you would need about a 500 millimeter lens, and those tend to be about out here, and they weigh 4 pounds by themselves. Okay. So those were the primary factors that I was looking for. It needed to be small. It needed to be something I could carry with me all the time. It needed to fit in my price range. I just looked this up. For the camera without the accessory kit, right now on Amazon it's about 240 bucks. I bought it with a full accessory kit that included this and some cleaning things and a couple of other important parts, which are the SD cards and extra batteries, which I'll get to in a minute. And with that whole thing, I think I paid $350 for the whole package. And it was everything and more that I needed for, 5 weeks in Europe. So I was really, really happy with my decision. Let me go over the features. Another feature that I really liked about this camera is it has modes. Okay. This little dial up here allows you to set either full auto, okay, or you can do automatic mode for video shooting, or you can do shutter, what's called shutter priority. In other words, you get to set how fast the shutter goes, and everything else the camera will choose for you. Or aperture priority, which is how big the opening of the camera is. Okay, that's the aperture. Aperture priority, when you start learning about photography, is what a lot of professional photographers keep it on aperture priority. Because aperture priority is what allows you to control what's called depth of field. And I'll be talking more some other weeks about some of these terms and how to achieve them as we get over into my bigger, newer camera. But I'm able to control depth of field here. So I can take something close up and get just that in focus with everything else behind it softly, or I can do the same picture with everything in focus. Okay, so I really liked the fact that it had that ability to change modes. Okay, it would allow me to do manual focus. I never did manual focus, but it has a lot of controls. Okay, so I had a lot of flexibility, a lot of things that I could learn about the camera. Some other features of the camera, it does have a built-in flash. Okay, over here on the side, there's a little toggle switch. It will make the flash pop up. So when you take a picture with the flash, okay, that should cause it to fire. Yep. There. I know if I go over here, it wanted me to have flash before. Nope, now it won't do the flash. Nope, I don't know why it won't fire the flash, but it does that. It determines flash automatically, or you can set it manually to do what you want it to do. Yeah, I've got it manually set to not fire the flash, I guess. Okay. It has rechargeable battery. Okay. See the little mini USB port up here. Okay. There's also a mini HDMI port. Okay. So in future weeks, I think this is going to become my webcam. Once I figure out exactly how to do that, it does a really nice job of uh, autofocusing. And I've got my little tripod. This is the very, very lightweight aluminum tripod that I took with me. And it collapses down and is very small and fit right into my day pack that I took with me everywhere. That had this sweater, a blanket, a lunch, some Kind bars for snacking. So I took a day pack with me everywhere. But the camera rode on my hip. So it has those two modes of output. It also has Wi-Fi. Okay. With Wi-Fi, I could connect and remote control it with my phone. Why is that important? Well, for one thing, this does not have a GPS chip in it. My phone does. So I could start a GPS log on my phone and synchronize the timestamps between my phone and my camera, and then go back after the fact, and it would actually drop latitude, longitude GPS information directly onto the pictures. So I have an exact location of every picture that I took in Europe once I figured that out. I didn't figure it out at first. So that's where the Wi-Fi comes in. If you don't happen to be in a place that has a Wi-Fi network, this will create its own little regional Wi-Fi hotspot. I can still control it with my phone. The other reason that controlling with the phone is important is it gave me a remote shutter. So if you're trying to take pictures at night, even with a tripod, particularly with a very lightweight tripod, when you hit the button, you're going to shake the camera. And we were just discussing how camera shake is not a good thing. So I had a remote shutter release where I could frame and zoom and do everything I wanted off of the app on my phone, and then trigger the shutter from my phone, and it would take a very, very steady nighttime shot. What does that do for you? That allows you to get pictures like this. Okay. This is a cover that I made. It's available on the website. Surprise, surprise, surprise. But this is a phone cover that I had made of one of my pictures called San Giovanni, Piazza di San Giovanni at night. Okay. That I took using my tripod on that remote shutter release. And you can see that I was able to, in very, very low light, it was probably 9:30 at night at this point. And yes, the buildings are lit, but the light was very, very low. And I got a very clear picture with a lot of zoom using that remote shutter release. So that's something to look for if you're going to be touring places at night. And let's face it, a lot of places are really pretty at night with the lights and everything else. So it's nice to be able to take good, clear night photographs. What didn't I like about this? Okay. Well, I will tell you. The first thing that I did not like is it does not have a viewfinder. All right. You see nothing across here, no way to put it up to your eye and look out. And why is that a problem? I mean, it's got this nice big live display 3-inch screen on the back. That's really nice. And because I'm 90% blind anyway, it's a good big image. I could see what was going on until I got out in the sun. If you've been to my site, you've seen the straw hat that I took with me to Europe. When I got out in the sun, what I had to do was I had my hat with the big brim on, and I would have to get the camera right up to my face and try to focus on this 3-inch screen with the hat brim over it so that I could see the screen in the sun. Okay, so that's the first problem, is it did not have a viewfinder. Okay. The second problem is, even with the LCD screen, it is flat. It doesn't tilt out. So if I was trying to take a picture over my head to see over a crowd, I had to sort of guess, look obliquely, okay, or down low, shooting up at something. And I had to sort of guess what I was looking at, what I was pointing at. You know, I'd sort of bend down. And I'm an old man. I don't bend easily. So I did not like the fact that the LED screen was flat. So to do it again, I would get one with a LED that flips out. And they have point and shoots that have both of those features. Even in the Canon PowerShot series, okay, if you go from the 240 up to about the 350 mark for just the camera, I think you can get both of those features in the Canon PowerShots. The other things to know about this camera are it runs on a rechargeable battery, and here's the battery. One came with it. This is the original Canon. Okay. And then the accessory pack that I got had an external battery charger and 2 extra batteries. Why is that important? Because I would be going for 14 hours a day. And if I got crazy taking pictures, I didn't want to run out of battery charge. Now this is pretty good on battery life, I think. In my whole 5 weeks in Europe, I had to change my batteries during the day twice, where I just took so many pictures that I used up the battery. So this is pretty good on battery charge. To do it again, I would only have 1 extra battery. I spent extra money. I got 2 extra batteries, but 1 was sufficient. The other thing that's down in this little door down here is the SD, and this is an XC, and this is a 128 gigabyte card. Okay. This is overkill. I could have gotten away with the 32 gigabyte card. Right now, I have over 3,500. Come on, go in the slot. It only goes one way, so if I flip things around, you won't go back in. There we go. Now I have over 3,500 pictures in there. And I have not hit 25% usage on that card yet. So, unless you're planning on taking more than 4,000 pictures before you get back to a computer to unload it, a 32 gigabyte card would do you just fine. Don't need all that much unless you're planning to keep your cards forever. Me, I don't plan to keep my cards forever. If I fill one up, it's going to get wiped. I do all of my stuff. I download to my computer. I do my post-processing on my computer. It is backed up 6 ways from Sunday. We'll talk about that in another episode as well. So, my card is not my backup. My card is just a way to take lots of pictures before I get back to my computer. So the 128 gigabyte was overkill. And as with most technologies, if you're at the high end, you're paying more per gigabyte. The 32 gigabyte card would have been really, really, really cheap. 32 and 64 are really cheap cards. So I did not have to spend that money for a 128 gigabyte card. So, that being said, this is a very, very good starter camera, almost a bridge camera. It doesn't have detachable lenses, but it does have that 40 times optical zoom. If I was doing it again, I would go a model or two up to get the viewfinder and the flip out LED screen. But those were really the only things that frustrated me about the camera. And the fact, and this was probably my learning and not a problem with the camera, is I had a hard time working with the autofocus. And in this, as I said, has a manual focus mode. I just didn't know enough when I went to Europe to learn how to operate the autofocus and get what I wanted in focus for every single shot. So I missed some really good shots because I didn't have the focus on the thing I wanted. So that's a regret. What does that mean? I have to go back to Europe sometime. Aw, shucks. But that's what we're talking about there. Again, I would buy it again, but I would probably go one bigger up, particularly if I'm just using it to take shots while on vacation, shots of the family, shots of the house. This would be a really, really, really good investment, and it would allow you to start your journey in photography as it did me. All right, so that's the Canon PowerShot SX720. I'm Ron Alcott, in case you just got here. It doesn't look like anybody just got here, but what do I know? I'm only watching on my video. So we're going to wrap it up. I just want to recap. Before I wrap up, talk about a couple of things going on the site right now. I do have a monthly giveaway of You and Me Kiddo. That's my giveaway for April. Just started my Mother's Day sale early, so right now it's running at 15% off. We may go up as we get closer. It's a chance you have to take. But know that the cutoff for ordering in order for delivery in time for Mother's Day is April 29th. So that's a date that I wanted to get out there and into the world. I still have going on my fundraiser for COVID-19 relief. For every $100 of my print, Share Bread and Water, I am giving $20 to Direct Relief. So that means in some cases I will be losing money, but that's okay with me. It's a good cause. I'm glad to do it. So take a look if that's an image that you think you like. There's also a link there if you really aren't in the market for any more art. You can link to that and donate directly to Direct Relief. They have a COVID-19 relief fund on their site. There's a link there for that. So those are all on the website right now. These images will be up on the website today. Sandgrass. Then he just walked into the ocean. I know what you're thinking. Maybe overblowing some of these for the Instagram audience. I apologize. And get her right side up. Where's her head? I mean, that's so dynamic. I always have to look carefully. But this is Aztec Dancer 3. So those are the 4 new images going up this week. If you put which one of those 4 you like into a comment next week's show, I will announce the winner. And I will package those all up, sign them and package them up, and send them to the winner free of charge. So we've got a little contest going on there. One entry per person. You only get to pick one favorite. So be sure you put your name and then a handle that I can reach you at, either on Instagram or Facebook or an email, so that I can direct message you and get shipping information. So we talked about the 4 new sights. We talked about holding your camera firmly using 2 hands, tucking in your elbows, all right, so that you have a steady platform for taking shots, or using something solid like the bottom of my computer here to brace yourself. And we reviewed the Sony. All right, what? Sony is my new camera. We reviewed the Canon SX720 HS PowerShot, which I took to Europe with me. Was a very, very, very good camera to get started relearning the skills of photography. So if you're just starting out, or you want to have something a little bit better than your iPhone, I recommend this camera, or even the next levels up of the Sony PowerShot. But again, that 40x optical zoom allowed me to take some pictures I wouldn't have been able to take without carrying a lot of heavy equipment with me. So those are the things to look for there. Until next week, I'm going to sign off. I'm Ron from Ron Alcott Photography. This is Sunday Morning Live with Ron. That would be me. Be healthy, be safe, be good to yourself. Take care of each other. Bye.